your nickname Wong.
Is with a huge honour. Could be. Last week was our first guest in the studio, but the studio is looking more complete now. Big Jack Della, Ben Vickers. He's the man.
Thanks for having us.
Looking very nice.
Thanks,
what is
guys.
through the sliding door?
You don't want to know.
No, yeah, we can't reveal that.
Oh, okay.
That's the Russians are doing an IV in there.
We
I don't know what you're talking about.
we thought we are going to start a new tradition, and Jack is going to be the first to do it. So, Jack, you might notice to your left there's a little mask. Before you put that on, grab the E off Reapers.
Which one is
The first E. Now put the blindfold on.
Take it off.
Yeah, take the E off. And you got to blindfold yourself and just with pressure, just try to push it in as close as you can.
to that?
Yeah,
So,
and don't make us rapers.
One false move, we could be cancelled.
You just got to push hard.
The suspense.
Leave it there.
Lucky your boxing's accurate.
Do you reckon anyone's ever going to nail that?
Back in that, that's good.
That's pretty good, eh?
Yeah, that's good.
It's kind of like a new logo. We can work with that.
I actually had money on Jack nailing that because I remember when we were down south, he's driving.
Yeah.
When we had the, you guys had some vegetables. And it was like,
That was fine, eh?
just didn't miss a beat though, eh? The man is just the most coordinated man of all time. Ben was flying at one point.
Yeah, well, that's me most of the time.
Man, that sharpness, was it ever on display? Hey, UFC 284.
Yeah.
Dude.
It was on, yeah. We set a good... I feel like we set like a game plan and we just stuck to it and it worked.
Unfucking believable.
It was such a cool event. It was insane, eh?
Dude, what was it like? Because we were in the punters and we were watching it. It was fucking incredible. The atmosphere from a crowd perspective was insane. And then, honestly, when you walked out, I would love to get your thoughts on what that feeling was like because it gave us goosebumps. Watch it for you. Like it just looked like something.
Yeah.
It was one of those moments in time.
It was insane, eh? It was like I was obviously just trying to like... Of course, I was trying to take in every second, but also I was like... I felt like I was in the zone. It just honestly felt like any other walkout. But it was, of course, it was just deafening though. It was pretty insane. I tried to take it in as much as I could.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you can't get goosebumps because you're prepared, but everyone I know watching that knows you was like goosebump moment kind of thing.
Yeah,
I got them again now.
Yeah, it was pretty, it was insane.
It was special. It was really special because, like, I guess we've been in this city and it's been against us from the beginning here. They took the cage away and all this kind of stuff. And it kind of, you feel like almost the black sheep of the sporting family in Perth. You know, like no one really covers your sport. No one pays it much mind. And all of a sudden, it's at the forefront of everything. And Jack's a part of that. You know, it's and we're a part of that. And the gym's a part of it. And I felt like the city, like, even from the open workouts and stuff like that, the city really sort of showed out. And you know what the best thing about it was? No drama. Like, no police reports of violence. You know, they normally try and tie some sort of violence into, even if it's AFL and stuff like that. It's always if the UFC was on and there was a fight at the Crown. It's not that these people have been drinking all night and the UFC's on in the afternoon. And, you know, it's always the MMA's fault. And I think we really proved a point this time, not only, you know, that we can hang at the world level in this country and at the very highest levels, but we know how to have a sporting event and celebrate it and behave ourselves and enjoy it.
I was actually talking to, I was with Budsy, Mitch and Timmy, and I was saying like the crowd going back a few years with, what was the motorbikes? Krusty? We used to have the worst rep of just being like hooligans. And I was looking around, I was like, man, everyone's having the best fucking time. There was that beer snake. That was the rowdiest thing you saw. Yeah. Oh, not the cup snake.
Yeah.
I couldn't get my eyes off that. And then that was before Volk's walkout. But just looking around the crowd, like everyone was just soaking it in. Hey, it was like such a feel-good event.
Yeah,
that's cool.
When you were walking out, by the way, best song choice ever, TNT. The crowd when they're going, oh,
you can get involved.
Oh, wait, man, it was fucking like seeing you guys on the big screen ready to go and walking out. It just, the whole stadium was just behind you. And just the way, those sort of moments are rare in sport, I think, where there's magic in the room. And you want to be able to bottle that and reuse it all the time. But like, it was a classic moment where I don't even think on the TV it gave justice to how loud it was in
Yeah.
real life, even though everyone on the TV commentary was saying it was amazing. You had to be there. It was one of those moments you had to be there. And when you put that video up, even the UFC media do this film. The countdown was vibing off the song.
Yeah.
He's trying to give you the countdown to walk. It was like, you could see him just going,
Yeah, I like made a conscious effort to enjoy that walkout because I'm normally like Jack. I just get so stuck in this little bubble of what needs to be done and what we're going to do, and you know it's contagious. Jack's like so intensely zoned in. It is contagious, and you get to that point where you make the walk, and everybody's kind of in that zone. So I did try and snap out, and I saw the misses, and it was nice to be able to share that moment with her, like walk over and and I looked around a little bit and stuff, whereas normally it's like head down march, like to the cage, get the job done.
Yeah. And was it just used to Ryan and Josh making the walk?
Yeah.
And what did they say about it after? Were they like, man, that's the most psycho thing I've ever done?
They're
Kind of
all
thing?
psyched, like so stoked.
Do you get a buzz off how when you see people talk about Perth? Like I somehow when I hear big wigs talk about it and talk fondly of it, you kind of like, that's where we are. Like,
I heard a lot of
that?
good stuff. Like so many people like, this place is awesome, eh?
Yeah. Like that show out, like Whitey said, how like sometimes we can get a bad rep, but when you see people, the reality of it, like it's such a beautiful place to live. And then it's hearing Rogan talk about it, McGregor was tweeting about it. Like it makes you go shit because it feels a little bit like us against the world because we're just sort of such a small isolated town.
I like that though.
Yeah.
Because that's what makes it so special because people that come here, you have to make a bit of an effort. It's not like an afterthought, I'll just pop over to Perth. Like people, who's that?
It's Rogan.
That's definitely not my phone.
It's
It's in the middle, mate. No one touch it. Oh, it's Jack.
Answer it live.
Oh, Jack.
Do you want to check to make sure it's not the missus or something?
Something,
It's all good.
It's Randy Brown.
Jack, come on.
Yeah, you got to make a conscious effort to get here.
Yeah, so, no, it's cool. And it is the spot, I reckon.
And so you talk about the game plan. Was it one of those mornings or moments where everything went to the script?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Ben was like, I think it was like, we sort of said it we set a game plan. I feel like we just stuck to it.
I guess, like, we don't normally really plan the exact execution of the fight. Like, we don't normally talk about how we want the fight to go down. We just know what the skills are and have a rough idea of Jack's going to impose himself on someone and we're going to just see what happens, basically.
Yeah.
Put pressure, see. But this fight, I feel like we both like picked up some things from tape, which is unusual because we're not big tape studies, but it was very obvious, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Can you share the little things or you like to keep that?
Just like his exits, like pushing him back to the cage and then watching him like he would do badly coming out sideways.
And did he do the same in the fight like you've...
Multiple times.
Yeah.
And that's when you caught him, when he was exiting to the right?
Yeah, he did it twice and then the third time.
Oh, to his left, sorry.
Just did what we practiced and just cracked him as he exited.
Oh, shit. So that is crazy, the forethought. So you was waiting for that, and then when it happened, you're like...
I think it was the most satisfying as a coach for me, like, because we worked specifically to do that. It's probably the most satisfying performance of Jack's career for me.
Yeah.
Before that, it would have been the Amiv body shot because it was just, that's a shot that means so much to me. Like I've made it my life's work to implement that into MMA, that punch.
Yeah.
But just the way this fight went and the way everything happened, how we thought it was going to happen, because Jack made it happen that way.
Yeah.
And there's a lot to that fight in 2.5 minutes that a lot of people will never see or understand. But it was textbook.
Unbelievable.
What about you when you're in there feeling him out and seeing, just getting his range, and you have that plan about the exit? Because you always look just so calm in your demeanor. Like, was that just that calmness in preparation? Because it looked like you were just like a python or just like a cobra ready to just strike. Yeah. As soon as you had opening, it was clinical. Would you say? Because it looked that way. It looked like, all right, you've got his measure, you've got his distance, and then it was just bang, bang, bang.
Yeah. Well, yeah, just staying, like, that's probably the most important thing, eh? Just staying calm so you can, like, execute what you practice. Because I feel like if the moment, like, gets a hold of you, then, like, you can't really execute correctly. So that's pretty much all I really focus on, eh? Just staying calm.
And then getting his neck.
Yeah. And then getting after him
It's
when,
like
that.
Yeah.
Was he
opportunities?
How done was he before you cinched the choke in? Like, were you thinking this is close to being stopped, or was he still there and
I
the choke?
I was like, I just thought I just hit him a lot, and I saw him sort of go out at one point, and then he sort of came to.
Punched him too.
And I was just, yeah, that's what it felt like. And then, but I saw him sort of like go turtle.
Yeah.
I was just like, just take it. I knew I'd get it.
Yeah.
And then I like cinched it, and then I was like, fuck, have I made a mistake? And then I was like, no, it's on there. I just like, wasn't like, I didn't squeeze really hard. I just like got it full and then just like slowly.
Yeah.
Squeeze. And I could tell like by the way, it wasn't really like, I could tell.
He was kind of done.
Yeah, it was kind of done.
Yeah. Yeah. Must have been so satisfying, eh?
Yeah, it was
Not
sick.
for everyone who bet on the first round knockout.
Yeah.
There's a lot of betting slips got ripped up. as a
Oh,
result of
that's
that.
true. I never even thought about that.
so
Should be
many-
still a sub should be a KO kind of thing, eh?
It's like that. You can bet on like finish. You can bet on sub or knockout.
Yeah, yeah.
Straight
You did fuck a lot of people, eh?
Yeah, a few. Like, my friend said that.
Yeah, well, your friends like,
Yeah,
you do
they're
it.
like, oh.
I'm not coming to the after party. I can't afford it.
Yeah.
And then, like, that moment when you win, so you go backstage, obviously you see your family were there, which is pretty sick.
Yeah, we got backstage, and then Franco and Michelle came backstage, and we just were in our change room, just watched the fight.
That's so cool.
It was sick.
Yeah, it was good.
And you get to soak it up, don't you? Like, it's a good time, right?
Yeah.
Like, little lunchtime win, and then
It's the
enjoy
first
the rest
time
of the
in the UFC that we've been able to just stay in the arena and
Yeah, they looked
watch a
after
fight.
us,
You fucking deserve it as well, because you guys have been doing Apex, you've been flying around
Yeah.
to all places. To have a home, like,
Yeah.
homecoming, it must have been, that's cool that you got that. And in Perth as well. It could have been anywhere in Australia,
Yeah.
but it's special that it got to be Perth.
Yeah, perfect timing, really.
Especially with the new
Insane.
bub as well. Like,
Yeah.
it just all the stars aligned for you.
Well, it's nice for everyone
100%.
else to have to do all the like. People are moaning about these long flights and stuff, and that is literally every time we go
Yeah.
to fight, we do that. So it's good that some people can sort of appreciate the extra sort of effort it takes to travel that far. That's why you have to go. Like, I think to do it properly, you need to be there for a couple of weeks just to be fully acclimatized. You don't want to be rushing that acclimatization
Yeah.
process and trying to force it. So we like to go early. I know it's a bit of a pain in the arse, and hopefully we get to the point where we can start bringing the family along and making, like, I think it's always been about making some good memories and having some fun and enjoying the journey rather than just being too worried
Yeah.
about the destination. So-
Making a home away from home, sort of, when you're on
Yeah,
tour.
Yeah, exactly.
Set up camp, sort of like just set up. So we're all,
Was
feels
Randy
better.
training down Mandurah way before?
No, he was at Essence, not Essence, George Garley's gym, Guardians.
Oh, Guardians there. Yeah. And did you get any reports of dudes that had like practiced with him or anything?
I think at that stage, you're not going to learn anything. You're not doing crazy amounts of training.
Yeah.
Like in terms of technical, and you're doing movement and pads and sharpening tools and stuff. But
The dudes at Kickass though, they were saying Makachev was full blown rolling on the Wednesday before. So like
Rolling's all right.
3
If you-
days before
if you
the
feel
fight.
good, it's a good way to cut weight if you're feeling good.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I saw on the embedded that they weren't open and they were waiting there. It's just for Steve to open up.
Oh, were they?
They're
Yeah.
like, he
That is
doesn't know
such
that
a,
we don't stop training. That was the most Perth thing ever, too, I thought. Like, it was so
On
laid
his
back.
motorbike, eh?
Yeah, so good.
I watched the Nelk boys went to Russia and trained with him before he flew out to Australia with Lil Hasbulla and stuff. It was pretty fun. They do a lot of hill sprint. You do a lot of hill sprints, hey Jack?
No, not really.
Not now.
Not really.
I think we used to do a lot
We
more
used to do
of
a
that
bit.
stuff, but
We injured up. I remember you
Mix it
saying.
up. Yeah, we did. Yeah, we mix it up.
Oh yeah, we like. I mean, running it should be a part of training, but we get most of our training done actually fighting, like doing
Yeah.
something like that is most of it.
Yeah.
we do a lot of that for a long time.
Yeah. How about straight weights? I guess because you've got a weight division, you can't really put
Yeah,
on.
not too much. I do a little bit of like kettlebells and stuff, and just like here and there, but I don't really follow like a program as such.
Yeah. And your
Not-
percentage already, when you cut down, like you've got, it's just lean muscle, eh? too.
Yeah,
Like you can't really,
yeah.
if you put on more muscle, you've
True,
just got to
yeah.
cut more muscle, eh? You've already got
Sometimes the
that
more
right
muscle,
percentage.
though, I feel like holds more water,
Yeah.
so you can like the
Cut
more
weight.
muscle you have, I guess you drop more water.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't want to get too heavy.
Yeah.
But I do like lifting weights like after a fight. Feels good, I guess. So
Yeah.
it's good for the body.
Yeah,
And how about you, Benny? How was your body? I remember last time I had you on the pod, you were kind of full on training and
Yeah,
trying
that-
to keep up with the boys.
yeah. I think like that Eternal week, it all goes to shit. Everything. Like I had so much going on that week. I actually like lose weight now because I get stressed out and that's just tends to be what happens to me. So I was back down in the like high 60s by the end of Eternal and the UFC and stuff.
Yeah.
Since then, well, it's been a couple of weeks and I've been conscious about eating and training hard again. Put a bit of weight back on. So no, I'm good. I like it. I've just settled at a point where I'm not trying to be like real good at martial arts anymore. I'm just having fun with it. Like I've got a good training partner, like I said. And I just have some fun with training now. So I jump in and do the sessions with the boys. We had the Cuban boxing guys down today.
Ruben the Cuban?
Ruben the Cuban, yeah. So
best nickname ever.
it's brilliant and fantastic coach and like really nice stuff he was teaching us. So we just had a good 2 hours of just moving around, shadow boxing and doing drills and stuff like that. So I love doing stuff like that and learning different styles off of different people. And
Yeah.
there's lots of cool people who have lots of different knowledge in Perth, and I love the opportunity to get around those people and pick some things up.
Will you say before, do you have an opponent in mind or anything in the works to work off at the moment, or it's just training at the moment?
Just training at the moment.
Will you ever identify things like, before this next fight, let's work on our
Always
wrestling, getting up, or our jiu-jitsu
in
subs?
everything.
Or
Like there'll be something
100%.
in everything that we want to like.
Yeah.
That we want to get into. So
yeah,
we're doing some footwork stuff, and we want to get over to Thailand. I'd really like to explore like that clinch, elbows, knees, kicks, like get really proficient at that kind of stuff. As well as like getting with some of the Russian wrestlers over there. And
I think that looked the hardest to deal with Makachev. Hey, he's breaking once they lock their hands, it looked like so hard to break their grips.
I think that's probably one of the most just keeping like wrist control would be probably most important, I reckon, fighting him.
Yeah. And that, I guess that's the same with all them sort of.
Yeah.
It's just a little style tweak that if people are really good at one thing and you're not used to it, it takes a bit of time. That's why it's so good for them when in fights when people haven't felt that system before. They're like, it might take you the 3 rounds just to figure it out.
There's one of the things like you can't just break it if you're just concentrating the hands, but if you turn your hips to get a bigger at the same time,
there's loads of like little idiosyncrasies that someone who does it will be able to teach you. So that's what we're going to seek out and try and find some Dagestani style wrestling and just try and play with it and see what they're doing and what the tricks are and how we adapt our game to deal with that.
Yeah. As a coach and athlete, like, is that where you see sort of the biggest threat in the modern MMA game these days? Like, is it closing that gap between that Dagestani wrestling approach? Like, is that what most athletes are looking at trying to get better at?
I think most athletes would be, but I personally don't think it's a problem for Jack. I mean, Jack's felt it once, like with Ramazan.
Old suntan dude.
Yeah. Sunburn. But so
and that contender fight, geez, you went through the rinse of that.
Different style of wrestling, but we're like, I'm super keen to go and play with it and get familiar with the style and just have some.
I feel like Volk showed that it's not actually the best style. I don't know, I feel like he did very well. Like stepping up a weight class showed that there is ways around it, and I reckon you could tell he drilled specific stuff.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to ask you. Like, would that have given a lot of confidence to the UFC rosters going, shit, there is a way?
I think so. Yeah, 100%. I reckon, I think you give Volk that fight again. I reckon I'd be putting money, I'd be putting my bet on him for sure.
I don't understand this. Like, it's not a mythical unicorn skill. Yeah. It's wrestling. Like, all you got to do is watch carefully what they're doing and try and reverse engineer it a little bit and work out where your defenses are. And prevention's better than cure. So, 1, how do you prevent it? And then 2, what do you do once you're engaged there?
I reckon the problem is that they don't grow on trees like Makachev's. Like, there's not that many of them. So,
but there's lots of people that do his style. It's not the level, it's the style. Yeah. Like, obviously, at a high level, it's hard to defend against anybody because everybody's good. So that it's just about speed of reaction and subconscious reaction. But it's knowing the style. There'll be a couple of things that they do that are really different.
Yeah.
That's what's going to stop you. Yeah. I'm sure there's a load of things that are different.
Yeah.
But once you know what they are and you've got a little in your brain, this has happened, I need to do this. And you've at least got a thought process of something you can do. Because I think you get there and you go, oh, what's that? I've never seen that before. What the fuck do I do now? And then you've given him time to even consolidate that position further, where he's like, right, that grip's there, I need to turn my hip this way, fight that hand. And
Yeah. I was thinking as well, he looks so good with Makachev I'm talking about, when he would lock his hands real low so the person loses their base and obviously they fall. But then I was thinking, like in jiu-jitsu right now, there's a big thing about greasing, and I was wondering, like, how on earth can they test for that for UFC? Like, if
they pat you down if they feel like
no, but what they reckon is an hour before you use like just lotion, body lotion, which is not illegal, and then you don't do as an intense warm up, so you don't get a full proper sweat. Because when you start sweating, obviously that's when the lotion comes back out.
Sounds like my new move.
Well, that's what all them wrestlers in BJJ, like, there's people just blowing up about it now, saying they're going to stop competing no-gi because greasing's so bad.
So when you start sweating, you're just like...
slippery as hell. And that, like, if someone grabs onto both your legs, you need to get one leg out. Like, if you're slippery, you're greased up.
There was a thing about that. Wasn't it GSP? Didn't GSP get accused of doing it back in the day?
He did.
Yeah.
In between rounds, yeah.
Well, Nicky Rod just fought Penner yesterday, and just they stopped the match 3 times to wipe him down,
To degrease him.
Degrease him. Yeah, after
Nicky Rod or Penner?
Nicky Rod. Yeah.
Oh,
So he fought Gordon Ryan, and then
I saw that.
he went on a podcast, Nicky Rod, and after the match, Gordon saying he was greasing. And then Nicky Rod on a pod's like, well, he's fucking using steroids. I'm clean. Who's cheating more? Like, he didn't really deny the grease, but he just kind of pointed out. And then Gordon comes back and he's like, steroids aren't illegal, but greasing is. So it's this weird scenario. Like,
Can't oil up.
yeah. But you can take like whatever steroids you want. So I don't know. It seems like a murky situation.
But it's a crazy sport.
Yeah, it is crazy. That'd be a hard one to, like, how they police it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's crazy.
And he even went as far as saying what people do the night before. They lay back and have their head in a bucket of baby oil. So their whole hair and their head is just pre-baby oiled. And then when they warm up, they wear a beanie so that the rest of you sweats, but anything in your hair will stay there in the thing. And then when you start wrestling, all the oil drips down from your hair, and you see the dudes, they like deliberately wiping their arms in their head, and they're just greasing themselves up. So they're just slippery.
Is there anyone looking like a slick Rick?
Yeah. Then you go back and look at matches, and you see all the dudes
Doesn't
with
work
like,
for me. I've just got a big phone.
Why is Ben wearing a wig? It's like nothing sus.
A big
I
white
guess
bubbly wig.
similar level with Volk shaving his head with that Ortega fight, where his head was just popping out.
Yeah.
Such a fine line, eh?
Tricks of the trade, eh?
Yeah.
What was it like when you finish the fight and it's all settling in? Is your phone just blowing up? Like when you hear like Rogan on Fight Companion talking about it, and like are you at?
Yeah,
is there
so
only like
many
at
people
night time
here.
when you get home you go through all that sort of stuff and see?
Yeah, so many people reach out, so many.
Yeah.
It's insane.
What was that like seeing that? Like seeing Joe Rogan? I know you've already been before,
that was cool. It's hard to even like. It's just surreal.
It's kind of weird.
How's the YouTube? Because you know, if you've got Instagram or whatever, and people comment on your page, they're like your fans, so you kind of get a feel for it. But we've just recently started doing more YouTube content, and it gets pushed out to people that aren't really your fans. And have you seen some of the comments on our channel? Some people are like, I put a video up of Volk, and they're like, "Oh, these new Volk fans."
Yeah. Too many yes men around here.
Yeah.
And he's like, they've been with him since day one, pretty much.
Yeah, and even like but us, like saying we're just like riding Volk or whatever, we just jumped on board or whatever. But you must get that a lot, hey? Like,
yeah,
people...
you get funny comments. All sorts of funny stuff.
Do you have a YouTube?
No, I don't.
Yeah, fuck. We just got because you got to hit 1,000 subscribers to become monetized. So when it shows ads, you start getting money. So we're on that YouTube money now.
Yeah, I saw the Russian surf one we put on with the new studio. Obviously, Whitey, good work again. It's in the two-man tally, but we put that one up with Letty and Guy, and there's these people like I think they thought it was a surf movie like they were going to watch.
Yeah, that's
and
what I'm talking about.
Like
Them
podcast teaser bullseye. Or something.
Yeah, they're like, "What is this? A podcast or a surf video?"
Yeah.
So
it's like less chat, more weight.
yeah.
We definitely copy
selling
it.
snake oil.
But we made $2.07. I sent it to Buddha.
Yeah.
$2.71 so far. So look out.
It's better than
That's
$0, right?
Yeah, we're balling. That's some UFC contracts at the start.
Slap fighting, you'll get about $2.
Yeah. Oh, you got the 50 G's, baby. too, didn't ya? Is that a couple you've had now of that?
3 in a row.
Fucking no worries.
Yeah, it's sick.
Fuck yeah.
That's handy, isn't
Easy
it?
job, eh?
Yeah.
Well, 10 minutes total fight time. 4 fights or something like that. Yeah.
That is ridiculous. So
Yeah,
4
it's
fights, 4 first round finishes.
Yeah.
No one
Oh,
knows if you've
yeah.
got a gas tank, eh?
No.
Except the people you train with. It's best to keep it that way, eh?
Angelusa knows.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool.
I heard you did an interview with Ariel and you'd hung up. I don't know if you've ever listened to it back, but they were talking about you once the call finished.
Yeah.
And they're
right.
like, talking to each other amongst themselves. They're like, have you ever heard someone so calm and relaxed about finishing 4 people in the first round, getting Rookie of the Year? And Jack's just talking about like, yeah, just like, they were just blown away how chill you are.
Yeah, wow.
That GC guy was hell funny, eh? How he goes, how like nonchalant.
Yeah,
Jack
yeah.
is. He goes, anyway, babe, I'm just going to work to bash someone. He's like, he stayed at home and he's back by 11. like as if someone's just going to the grocery shopping. It's amazing.
Just off to work, yeah.
I feel like you're getting like becoming a cult hero.
Yeah,
International.
that's
Do you
sick.
like you see all the America? Like, was it Luke Thomas Morning Combat? How they were doing a preview of UFC 284, and they were saying Jack Della, and they go speaking to a lot of MMA enthusiasts around, and it seems to be he's been regarded as our guy. Did you see that?
No.
So they were saying that you're the MMA purists like guy, like you
Yeah,
represent the
right.
sport and what people like in fighters. It was a really
Yeah,
good
that is cool.
accolade, eh? I was like,
Fucking oath.
that's almost the ultimate street cred.
He's like the new and improved Whitaker. Because you know Whitaker has so many fans just because he's a good, honest dude. But Jack's even more chill and more like
But I think it's
more
like,
impressive finishes. Like,
if you knock everyone out, if you love fighting and you see someone applying, I use like beautiful violence. That's exactly what it is. It's heavily violent. It's almost over with like the first couple of shots you throw, but it's technically beautiful.
yeah. And the name
People
Maddalena,
like-
it kind of sounds beautiful.
It's definitely about the name.
It sounds beautifully violent too, I reckon.
If you were just Jack Smith, I don't think you'd
Yeah, it's got a mafia boss name to it, eh? And then even Franco, like the next gen. That name's sick as well.
On the commentary, Anik says Franco's dad.
Oh,
Does he?
Yeah.
oh, that's
Yeah.
cool.
I want to watch it back. I haven't seen it with all their commentary, hey.
Yeah, I'd love to watch the whole commentary.
It goes on to Fight Pass eventually, hey? Or is that just the
I think it's about
fight
6
nights?
weeks later. They
6
put it
weeks.
out for free or something like that.
Do you
Yeah.
just get access to it for free as athletes to be able to watch footage back, or just be able to study anything?
I don't.
I've got a. They gave me a fast fight pass one.
Does it have free
It has the
pay-per-views?
pay-per-views come on it.
Oh, sick.
Because it makes sense as an athlete, you should be able to reflect on.
Put it
performance.
once
I
Yeah.
didn't realise that. Like,
Yeah, we'll be all on your one soon. eh?
Everyone's on Jack.
Yeah.
Jack can never get on it. 'Cause
That's like Nosies. And was it yours? That your NBA pass that we had?
Yeah, yeah.
It was streaming on like 6 different TVs over Perth.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool because I often
Yeah.
wonder, like, surely fighters don't have to pay for the pay per view to watch their.
yeah, I feel
that.
like at one point they just gave me fight pass, and then now I'm pretty sure the pay-per-views just come up.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Is your nose straighter? It looks so straight. Maybe it's my
Nah.
angle. Still on the
it's still on the.
little bit.
no one's hit it yet.
Okay.
Are you like anti? If
Waiting
someone
for
gives
it.
you a left hook,
free
Start
nose
putting your
job,
nose
I'm
there.
waiting for it.
that would be so gangster if someone like left hooked and just straightened it up,
Yeah.
and then you're like,
Randy said he was going to straighten it up for me.
yeah, he did,
Never
eh?
happened.
Fuck, he, yeah.
Yeah, it was good to see him roll up to your after party.
Yeah, it was real cool. It was cool. He was just like a good dude, eh?
Yeah, that's cool.
Did he hang around for long in Perth,
Nah, not
or
really.
you-
Oh, I think you. Nah, not really. I think he was sort of headed home.
yeah?
But yeah, it was cool to speak.
Yeah,
to him.
we like touch wood. We haven't done the long depresso journey. 20 hours like on the back of a victory is pretty sweet. you know?
easy.
We haven't had to do the old waiting to get home and then fucking 20 hours of flying on the back of a
Yeah.
negative result yet. So long may that continue.
Yeah. And then arguably you were confronted with that possibility at the start because you were going through COVID. So
We
if
were
you'd lost one of
confronted-
those first fights, you would have had 2 weeks of it.
2
Fuck,
weeks,
mate, yeah,
yeah.
look,
Hotel room.
So you
There's a
did
legend.
well.
Yeah.
The studio
The
ghost.
ghost.
He's just left the
Ghost of
building.
Randy.
Randy Brown walked in. Soul hasn't left.
Yeah. It's like, you thought we left.
And then all of a sudden, Jack's nose is straight. Ghost punches him.
The Fremantle doctor. What's next? Like, is there... Have you just got... You going to Bali, aren't you? Or
Going to Bali. Just going. I think we sort of, by the sounds of it, I think they're down for July 7th, like International Fight Week, Las Vegas.
Fuck yeah.
So back to Vegas.
Who's down? You're down.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Sorry, I
sure
was
that's
zoned out
the,
there.
like when I'll probably fight next, I reckon.
That's the
Fuck.
biggest card you can get.
Yeah.
Where's that one?
Vegas.
Vegas.
It's like International Fight Week.
Yeah,
They do
yeah.
that big card.
Sorry, I was thinking about the
Nah.
door flying
Yeah,
open.
yeah,
This guy's
yeah.
standing rattled
You got
out.
the earphones on. He's still never heard it.
You're saying we're going.
He's saying it.
It's the plastic Eiffel Tower bloke. It's a sign. Paris.
That'd be sick, man. That's like, that would be
Yeah,
McGregor. Oh, is McGregor on that one, they reckon? Or no, it's too
I
early
don't
for him,
know.
isn't
I
it?
have no idea. Yeah, I don't know for sure if I'll be
It's a
out, but
huge
that's what
card.
we're gunning for. Like, gunning for. I think they're sort of keen.
That's when you
So
know
we
you're a one of...
Open that card. Would be
Yeah, and just
pretty
knowing that you're like
ideal.
on the radar as one of the next gens, because they
Be
don't
sick.
put anyone on that card, do they? That'd be sick.
Good tough fight.
Good timeline to get one more in before the end of the year as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that the dream? 3 in the year?
I think 3 fights a year is...
The schedule last year was pretty sick.
Yeah. Can you say with your contract how many you've got on each one, or
As in,
like how many fights? Do you have to like 3 on this and then you get a new deal, or?
no, not really. Just sort of. Tim's been pretty good. I think this will be on a new. I think I'm gonna lock in like a new 6 fight deal.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, so like
Give you a
hopefully
bit of
get
stability
to-
and yeah.
So hopefully
That's
at least
epic, man.
At least 6 more fights.
6 more tracksuits. And start making a fortune on eBay after all this is said and
6
done.
more ghosts to come haunt my studio.
I use
Yeah.
I use still last time you were in your time at the clothing. Are you guys still gonna do some clothing?
Look, do you know what? It's
Working.
you
on
have
it.
all these great ideas, but you've got to put them into practice. That's the bottom line. It's talk is cheap, and we're very good at talking sometimes about wonderful things that we want to do. But I think the bottom line right now is concentrate on fighting, concentrate on winning a world title, and let's do that. And then you can have all the clothing deals and whatever you want after that. You can do whatever you want. So for me, like, I would really like to open another gym. We're sort of actively looking for somewhere north of the river at the moment.
Ooh la la.
A little crew of us together, so it'll be like a big team, so the workload is spread out because we're all busy and there's a good chance that we're going to go away a few times, and but it's a good crew and they're all really good fighters, really good in there and have areas of expertise, so hopefully we get that off the ground, because that sort of goes hand in hand with what we're doing, and I'm sort of withdrawing myself slowly from Eternal and trying to sort of get away from that and really focus all our attention on the one thing that matters, I think. Which is UFC Gold.
Keep that ball rolling, eh? Yeah, that Eternal, it's such a big plate to deal with.
And do you know what? I hate it. Like, I go to that show and I don't enjoy it. I mean, you were sat pretty much next to me, and I was just angry the whole time I was there. You know, having fighters in the cage and then officials not doing their jobs properly, and you know, there's someone drunk over there, and then there's a member of staff who doesn't know what they're doing and they should over there, and it's just so fucking stressful. And
Yeah.
I just end up being horrible to be around, and I don't want to be like that. So this
Did
one,
you have to rage quit and leave?
I went home, yeah. About 14 minutes past 6 after Khan finished fighting, I left.
Yeah.
I'd already packed my bags before his fight, and then
I remember messaging you because Buddha wasn't allowed back in, and then I was like, "Can you send someone down and let Buddha back in?" You're like, "I'm at home in bed."
Did I tell you how I got back in?
no.
So they were like, as soon as I left, because I was going to do that thing for UFC, and I said, I'm going to actually work for UFC. I'm coming back. I'm not drunk. I wasn't even drinking. Can I please get in? I'm like, nah, you can't. I go, well, I know the guy's running it. If I get one of them, and he goes, oh, if you get one of them, you can get in, but you gotta come see us. I was like, all right, whatever. So I came back a couple of hours later, and they were like, I go, yeah, I've messaged Ben and Cam, and he goes, I don't know Cam. And I said, oh, he's one of the owners, so you definitely would have seen him. And he goes, I know Ben. If Ben comes out and gets you, you're allowed to get him. Otherwise, I can't let you in, mate. And I said, wait, what am I
That's
going
a
to do?
good
Like, I've got 2
security,
wristbands
yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to cause any issues. There's 4 fights left. And
Why-
then the guy goes to me, hang on, you look familiar. And he goes, were you the really tall guy last year when we came in as Biggie Talls?
Yeah.
And you go on Whitey's shoulders. And he goes, oh, get in there, mate. So I was like, oh, thanks, man. It finally paid
Mate,
off.
I'm going to get that guy fired, mate. He was doing such a good job until that.
Yeah, that old boy, he's been there. I think he's that OG that's been standing there for years.
Yeah, I'm like, I like security at my events that don't let people go in or have rules.
No, they did a good job.
But yeah, well, till the till the celebrity status kicked in.
He didn't recognise me because I was 5'11". Compared to 10 foot. So,
I wonder if you like stretched or went a little bit taller, and then he just had like flashbacks.
You should come out.
Yeah,
Get your
just get on your
t-shirt
shoulder.
on.
I'll go and get the other fella. I'll get the back of tools.
Like, hats off to you, Ben, because you have done such a good job with Eternal. Like, you're the modern day Clark Kent at those shows because you're wearing like scrappy kit, and then you run to a phone booth and you're wearing a suit. Like you're talking to the camera. Like,
It's fucking
I don't know how you did it
ridiculous,
for so long.
I don't know, and the ironic thing is, I never wanted to do it. Like, I got sort of Cam's the man, and he wanted someone to help him drag. He wanted to drag someone else into the shit with him. and I don't want to do it. I don't like being a promoter. I've never liked it.
Yeah.
But
Is Cam
I love
cool with
Eternal.
it?
Yeah, Cam's good as gold, and we're working.
He
on
could
it.
get one of his daughters to fill your role, hey?
Well, they're busy in America trying to be fighters, but we've got things in place, and he knows my priority lies with Jack. Like, this is all I've ever wanted to do. I'm in a position that I've always dreamed of being in. I'm not going to ruin it by being stressed about something else.
Yeah.
You know, I want to enjoy this. This is probably like a real special time in life now where we get to do some really cool shit. But it all goes away the minute we stop fucking working hard and smashing people.
Yeah.
Like, that has to
focusing.
continue.
So you just want to keep, going. In
We
the
just
same
want to get
direction.
better. Like,
Yeah.
I believe Jack's the best, but I still think he can be better.
Yeah.
Like, I think we can improve always. Like,
Yeah.
But our team is so like we've got such a good team,
yeah. It's so
which makes
deep.
the journey like way easier, I guess.
Having like Ryan and Josh, because obviously we have a gym to run and we have other fighters. So oftentimes when I go abroad with Jack, they can't come because they've got obligations here, and they're so like Ryan Gray. I offered him to bring him out to Vegas last year for Jack's Danny Roberts fight, and he turned it down. He said, "I need to look after the gym. I need to look after the lads. I'm not coming there on a jolly."
He's a man,
Like,
eh?
what kind of blokes? That's the kind of blokes that we have.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
but I refuse to do it without them anymore.
Yeah.
Because it's so much more fun. Like the fun we had in Perth, like messing around, the media day, because they're boring as shit. Jack's got to answer the same questions to 12 different people in different rooms in a hotel. But in between, there's loads of waiting around, and we just fuck about and have fun and enjoy each other's company. And I think it needs to be like that because it's going to get for Jack the pressure, and there's going to be a lot of obligations that to be honest, they're harder for Jack than fighting mentally, I reckon.
Yeah.
Because he just hates it, you know.
really
So it's
repetitive.
trying to maintain it being fun whilst it's doing
Yeah.
the shit stuff. And I think having Ryan and Josh there is
Yeah.
important.
Ryan's in the zone. Hey, I was watching him corner, and when he comes out, he's so professional, and he's like, some people might lose their focus or whatever, and he's just like,
Ryan's the guy in the gym that makes the right decisions pretty much all the time.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I'm a fucking idiot. I'm about as immature and irresponsible as you get as anyone, right? Outside of the training route, like 10 till 12, I'm focused, but outside that, I'm a fucking buffoon.
yeah,
And Ryan's the guy that'll go, Ben, that's a stupid idea.
yeah,
And I always respect it. He's always the one sort of dragging us back in a little bit and keeping us on the straight and narrow. And when we all get these fanciful ideas and these wild and wonderful things that we want to do, and Ryan's like, lads, stop being a dickhead.
As like coaches, coaching friends and athletes, like your guys' relationships are real special. When you're on the cusp of something now where you can see people talking about you potentially being a future world champion from all over the world, people are singing your praise, the potential that Jack's got and what he's doing. You said about extra expectations and whatnot. Like, how do you deal with that, knowing what's in front of you, doing what you love, which is the fighting, but then handling all the other stuff that's going to come your way, the distractions of like people that are going to want a piece of you. You see it time and time again with fighters that have been gone before you, and some have dealt with it well, some haven't. Because I'm curious, when other sports, there's like a whole company around those, say, cricketers. They get like sports psychs, they get career advisors, they get people that kind of make sure they're ready for that next level up
Yeah.
and they try support him. But I feel like you guys are contractors to the UFC in a way, aren't you? So how does that all work? Is there someone you can lean on, a sports psych or anyone to speak to?
We're lucky that literally the only obligation we've got with fights is the week. We just got to. The rest is pretty much I just pretty much put my head down, just focus on training. Really.
Jack, I think it's good for you because you're not a guy that wants to be like in the press and all over Instagram and like you don't need to do any of that shit for anyone that you have obligations for. You don't need to teach MMA because you've got enough money that you don't need to coach. So your hours can be spent constructively training or spending time with your family. And then Tim's job is to manage the business and the contractual side of things. He's going to tell us everything that we have to do.
Yeah.
And then Jack's going to have a choice on everything else.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And my job is even some of the stuff he has to do, if he really doesn't want to do it and it's going to affect the performance, then we won't fucking do it because all we want to do is win a world title.
Yeah.
The rest of it will come organically at the, you know. I don't think you're going to find Jack being one. Well, I don't think he'd be allowed to with the. See that?
Yeah, the guy's it's back.
Fucking Randy, he's taller than me. He wants to say something.
That's not his microphone, is it?
Like Jack's not all of a sudden going to become some guy who wants to be like an internet superstar.
Yeah.
And I think it's all a bit strange to all of us. Like all of a sudden we're at the center of something that we never really asked. All we want to do is fucking fight. Like that's what we love, that doing that shit.
You were saying just before you brought someone to tears, when they met you the other day.
Yeah.
It must be.
Mum came in. It was interesting. She wanted to get us. I think her son had a rough time, and he was just like inspired. So it was pretty sick.
Yeah.
Pretty wild.
And how about just walking down to get your coffee now? Have you noticed the
A little
difference?
bit.
Or?
There is like some. Obviously, like it's still close to the fight, so it's still like close in people's minds. But yeah, a lot of people have reached out.
Isn't it funny that we were in that? Remember that first time it happened? We was in Nando's with me, you, and Josh.
Yeah, that's the
and there's some dude. This was ages ago, before Contender, or maybe just after Contender or something.
I think it was before.
Some guy just came up and wanted his picture taken with
in
Jack.
Willerton Nando's.
Yeah, he was on board way before everybody else.
OG
Yeah.
fan.
But that was so weird. Like we just went to have lunch, and then some random dude just came over.
Yeah.
I thought I was the man.
Straight out of it.
Big note we called it.
That was my old mate down in Margs last year.
Oh yeah, you're
Oh, he was crying at the other Sunday.
I know that guy. Had a beer with him in Margaret.
Got his number.
It's easy though to see how that can happen because I've been victim to that. I remember when the Scorchers final, we didn't even really talk about this, but the kid you've been training for years came on. I was on the beach watching it with a friend, Ty.
Was that the young kid who knocked it all over the park that day?
Cooper Conley,
the blonde
yeah.
kid.
He's like,
he basically won it for the Scorchers, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
He's been in our programs since he was. Well,
Can
when
we
I
talk
started-
about that for a minute? I was watching it with my dad. I actually signed up to KO to watch the final. Deleted it straight after. But like that week free trial. But what a fucking... That young lad, how old is he?
19.
I'm going to talk about like Perth sporting moments weekend to weekend. Like he's homegrown from Perth.
Yep.
And they're like, he's played 2 games all season. And they go, here you go, mate. It's all on you, son.
Yeah.
Make a name for yourself. Brilliant. I love it.
do you know what?
He smashed it.
Yeah, Cooper Conley. Shout out. He was always on the way. When I started in 2018, he was already a player of like on the radar. He'd just passed through our under 15s program, and then I worked with him through his under 19s, and he's always been an incredible talent. And the way he goes about it, I drew parallels with Della because like cricketers know who he is that are in the sport.
Yeah. He's a cricketer's
and
cricketer.
He captained the Australian under 19s last year. Exceptional young man. Like his leadership quality is really good. Insane skills. Like fucking hits the ball 20 rows back in real unique parts of the ground, and he's really good left arm off spinner as well. It's like a second string. So we've seen him for like 5 years. You know how good he is, what he's capable of, and there's a reason why he's playing the Scorchers. But the average punter in the stadium hasn't heard of the name. So we were always like, if he gets an opportunity to show his skills, he's got the temperament to be able to handle the big stage.
Yeah. And that's what sets them apart.
It does. The stage was set, no bigger stage than that. And I got teary watching him.
How many people can do that though? As 19 and it's your big chance and you don't go to pieces. He absolutely and that's what I love about sport. That's why I love sport more than anything else in the whole world, because of the narratives and the stories it can write.
Yeah.
Like,
I was that guy on the beach kind of tired. Like, wait, you see this? I've never met Cooper in my life. Like, wait, you see him? This kid, he's going to nail it. Buddha's been talking about him for years. Like,
Yeah, because we talked about him all season, didn't we?
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, I hope he gets a chance to bat because our batting was so strong. He didn't get an opportunity really. So like, I just had this weird feeling that it was going to happen in the grand final. And when he walked out, I said to Yob, my co-worker, I was like, there's no better stage for him to do it. He's got nothing to lose here.
And I bet you weren't worried either. I bet you knew he was going to smash it.
And when
didn't
he
you?
hit that one, I was like, because he hits the ball fucking so far, and he's got that confidence in himself, but he's humble as well.
Is
like,
cricket, if you get one, do you know you're in then? If you hit one straight out the middle early, do you know you're
his kind of
you're
game
on
because
one?
he's got
Yeah.
incredible hands, like bat
Yeah.
speed, and he just had that. You know, you're young, 19, you're like got nothing to lose in that regard.
Yeah.
But and the roof blew off the place, and it was those like. Everyone was emotional. The kids are like,
I think it set
his
the tone.
hero now. He's like the local Prince of Perth now.
Yeah.
And then a week later, the King of Perth, Jack
Yeah,
Della,
I literally-
does another moment.
I literally think that cricket, 60,000, biggest ever cricket match in history or in Perth? Oh,
Yeah, the home final. Yeah,
and it set the tone for that week because everyone was on a high, the most winningest franchise, and Perth people like get really proud of little old Perth winning things, right? So everyone was on a massive high, and it just and the weather's beautiful, and it just rolled into this amazing UFC fight week, and then capped it all off with
you
whatever
guys.
happened,
The energy in both events were insane.
I definitely think there was a carryover. Like,
Yeah.
I think if that had gone really badly and they got knocked out of the park, then there's 53,000 dejected people. Then the atmosphere they could have all been mad cricket fans who came to that event was fucking sick. It went down to the last over, like so exciting. Like, what's next? Oh, we got live sport this weekend. We got Eternal in the UFC, and we sold out Eternal, which we've never done before at the HBF. And the UFC was rammed every activation they did there to make more space for. And
sick.
Yeah, what was that like the whole week? And like you touched briefly on it before, but why did you show me some of the footage of when you guys rocked up to the open workout and you're in the car and you just get out, the crowd's going nuts. Like,
It was good. It was a good warm up for the crowd. Like we got used to the crowd pretty early.
that was the first moment where I was like, "Fuck me, this is weird." Like, because normally you're outside the car, like looking to see who's in it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Not the one in it going, "Fucking hell, there's a lot of people here." I'm always like a bit paranoid in like confined spaces and crowds of people. I'm not into that kind of thing, and I'm like, I'm surrounded. How the fuck would I get out of here now if I needed to get out of here? My brain does that.
because I tell you, the UFC staff, when I was doing those interviews for Howl Ahead and UFC, and I was like, "Oh, is it like this everywhere you go?" And they were like, "No." They were American chicks, and they were like, they do it all over the world with the UFC, and they said, "This is nuts. Like, we actually didn't plan for such a crowd to embrace us." Like, they were blown away by Perth's turnout.
Yeah, because we don't get like all this high profile stuff all the time.
Yeah.
Like. So, and 3 years since the UFC's, or 7 years, was it 2015? 7 years since the UFC's been in Perth and 3 since it's been in Australia. So it was just.
Any scoops on there's talk of UFC coming back to Australia at the end of the year?
I think that will happen.
I think it will.
You know where or?
East somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would it be
Maybe somewhere it hasn't been before.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. Man, I feel like now whenever it comes after having such a good week, like I feel like I want to go there
Yeah.
to watch it. If it's Sydney, Melbourne, wherever, like I'd
We'll
love to
probably
go.
be doing Eternal the night before, so we can always
We'll do a
jack
comedy
something
as
up.
well.
Yeah. Oh, God.
That's another thing, bro. Like, you've done the biggest week of your life.
Fuck,
You're like,
I
I might
was
as well
hoping
do stand-up for the first time in front of my whole gym. Like, that's
It
another...
was nice to like have something different to focus on for a bit. Honestly, like I didn't get a lot of chance to worry about it, and I didn't get a lot. I only practiced that week. I'd get up early at home and just drive straight to the gym, and I'd just like do a couple of run throughs. And I actually changed the whole routine on the day because that was how it felt would be best. But it was so scary, man. Like I've been trying to do
I
mad
don't know how you
shit.
do it.
Like the ultra
Yeah, I'd
marathons
find
and that. It was always about getting out of my comfort zone because I don't fight anymore. So how do I feel like I used to feel when I was fighting? Because there's nothing quite like it. And ultra marathons are great because they're hard. So you get the discomfort feeling and stuff. But you don't before an ultra marathon. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get to the end of it. So you don't have that same nervous feeling. Whereas going up and thinking I could fall fucking flat on my face here,
Yeah.
and I've got nowhere to go. I've just got to stand there and take it. Like that got me to the point. I wanted to leave the venue like 2 hours before. I was all good, and then people started arriving, and the other comics were there, and they kind of stood in a circle, and I wasn't in it. And I was just like, oh, fuck. Yeah, and I was just like, fuck, I'm really on the outs here.
You're on the gym. You're like, just get out.
I've never felt intimidated in the scrapyard before, but I was like, fuck, these funny cunts are here.
by seven guys who can't fight. Yeah, it's like.
And then I was sitting at the side, and Nat came in, my wife came in. And she sat down next to me and she went, what the fuck's wrong with you? I've never seen you looking like this before. And I was like, I'm fucking terrified. Well, we got a leak. We sprung a leak.
Oh, we've got a...
You need to get that Patreon
Randy?
back, mate.
It's Randy.
So, yeah, it was crazy.
You did such a good job, man.
That was awesome.
Yeah. It's a fun night to like.
It was
just crank
cool.
it up, eh?
Being in the crowd, it was gold. Everyone frothed it.
Yeah, that's
hilarious,
good,
man.
Once I got started, I was sweet. It was just that first little bit was crazy.
Maybe turn off the aircon if you can reach it. We're spreading the leak, eh?
It's probably
Sounds like we're pissing.
Landscape Grin Reapers.
Hey, but you know, talking about how you were tweaking it. You would do that if you did comedy more and more. You would do that for like 2 years. You'd change jokes slightly every time.
yeah.
I guess it's like fighting different.
When
So
you
you
just-
tweak things minor.
And then up there, it comes out in a slightly different way than it does when
man.
you're rehearsing and stuff like that. But it was a great feeling. To be honest, I really enjoyed it. Now, whether I want to do it again, I don't know. But it was great. I actually really enjoyed it.
You should do it like every time there's like a marquee event.
You have a thing of doing this to me, right? Because I'm not a kind of person to say no. So I'd rather, like, let's just drop it. I'll end up talking myself into something I don't want to do.
We need to do another one of those.
Big-
Just from the crowd
How good was
perspective.
it?
It was sick.
Did you enjoy? Everyone enjoy it?
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
I
fun.
loved
Yeah,
it, eh?
and a lot of people just don't go to comedy, so that if you bring it to them, they have a really good time. But
Yeah.
people
I'll
just can't be
definitely-
fucked going to the city or find out where the clubs are. So you got to make it convenient as possible. Hey,
Yeah, I'll probably go soon. I'd go to
you were part of the show with Delby rapping to you.
That was brilliant. That video recap
Yeah.
the song was great, man. And then Michelle getting into me, I've got to have a word with Michelle about that.
You got heckled, eh?
By Michelle of all people.
I can't believe it. I was like, stop heckling.
I know you weren't. You're like, carry on.
Yeah, he's whispering what to say. Goes right into it.
She's still upset about the Mario Kart.
What is that? Is anyone an aircon specialist? That's something to do with the...
Leon, he listens.
That is 100% a leak.
Yeah, but
That's all I know.
the water, because it goes out the outside and pops out the bottom, the drainage hose. But maybe because it's been on all day. I've been out here from early.
It is ice cold though.
Yeah.
Drink it.
Done a good job. Did Leon? Shout out to Leon though, massive.
Cheers, Dan. There is Andy. Cheers, Leon.
Don't want to say don't want to say the company.
Leon from Perfect Aircon.
Aircon and pools. Waterfall. This is Chinese torture, isn't it? Where you get a slow drip on the forehead. Was this strategic to get me sitting here?
Is the cup full? Here, grab
No,
another.
it's half
Turns out
empty.
you look at it.
Oh no, another leak. Now we got the carpet. It's a disaster. We should end before something really bad happens.
So you're on a podcast tour.
What's that?
When you doing another podcast, you say?
Oh, there's an eternal one. It's
Oh,
like a
yeah,
little
yeah.
chat.
Yeah, good.
Who's that with?
Luke,
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you've ever spoke to Luke.
So July, are we going?
Is that international?
Vegas.
I'm surely. You'll just have a new baby, so it's a good time to get out of it.
Yeah, go to Vegas. I'm sure they'll go well.
Get out.
Yeah,
Sorry,
mate.
love, gotta go.
Mate.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll be 2 months
nice.
old, the baby.
Yeah.
mate. It's
Yeah,
easy.
that's heaps of time.
Perfect
mate.
time.
The any tips for a girl in how to handle it? Because you got a boy, I got a boy, you got 2 boys. You're the only one with a girl, eh?
No, not really. I don't think I'd be the kind of person that. Just get ready for some sort of mad emotional swings. Nothing
wait, with the
different
partner
than
or-
yeah, well, both. I was going to say they're not that much different. They learn very early about all the stuff that women do to you throughout your life.
Yeah.
Manipulation. They never forget anything, and they bring these things back up. Oh, no. Oh, you were talking about Bobby, yeah. No, they're great. Girls are great. What's going on here?
It's gone above and beyond that.
We're back. How are you finding parent life?
It's been sick.
Yeah.
Like it's different than previous life, but it's been cool. It's been like good balance. I guess I'm lucky I finished training. I just go hang out with the fam and then train again. But it's been sick. Franco's he's a pretty good baby. He's pretty happy like most of the time.
Chiller.
Yeah, he's real chill.
How many kids has Josh got?
2. He's got a 5-year-old girl and a 3-year-old boy.
So you've been uncle life for a while. You kind of knew what you were in for.
I've seen what I'm in for.
It is crazy. It does change you though, eh? So you got dad strength? You probably couldn't get any stronger though, eh?
I don't know.
Is dad strength a real thing, you reckon?
100%.
Yeah, when you hit 30.
You tell your kids it is anyway.
Yeah.
They think I'm a superhero. They don't realise I'm actually a midget.
That photo of you at Ronaldo and he's spewing on you. That's one of the best photos of all time, mate.
You're embracing that
Have
shit.
you seen that one? And
No.
Jack's just frothing out, that smile.
Oh, actually, yeah.
It's just fucking...
No.
That's that good.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that sums it up.
Imagine 8 years' time, like their kids all growing up, running around the gym. They're just going to be fucking weapons.
My kids love fighting.
Yeah.
Like, love it. Josh
Yeah.
Josh loves Jack. He's Jack Della Maddalena all the time. I am Jack. And he comes up and starts bashing you.
That's so
Brilliant.
good.
And Bobby's like an analyst. You go, oh, he's cheating. He grabbed the cage. Like, she's 7. She knows all the rules.
guy.
Like, she called once. She was like, Nat, call Dad. Mum, call Dad. Tell him Rod needs to take this guy down. Like, we're getting in the Jack Jenkins fight. Like, she soaks it all in and listens. And yeah, I want to get a place north more so I can have, because my gym's so far, I don't bring him there that much anymore.
Yeah.
So I'd really like to have them in there a lot. I want to weaponize my children. So
And-
I want them to be like really capable children, but they'll never have to use it.
And
Like,
cheap
just-
labour too, once they're old
Yeah,
enough to
exactly.
coach.
Like, I was saying to you before, we should have we'll have all these little gyms and all our kids can just have a gym each.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It is incredible though for like their discipline and just life lessons, hey? Like,
I want them to know
yeah,
everything so they're safe, and I want them to never to use it unless they really need
Have
to.
to. What would you do if Bobby wanted to fight though?
Happy days. If that's what she wants to do, I'm in. I'll coach her.
Yeah.
But
So you
if-
wouldn't be phased by it. You wouldn't deter you.
I'd rather she didn't.
First female
But-
liver KO, I reckon.
Yeah. But yeah, if she wants to do it, I'm in.
And if she was good, you'd have to assess like, oh,
Yeah,
this is just.
Yeah, that'd be the hard thing.
I'd be honest with Franco. I'd be like, sorry, you're not good enough. Or,
Yeah. Yeah, it's not
You'd
something
hope, yeah.
you'd want them to like have full-on hope in, just to think they could get somewhere just because they grew up in that environment.
It's interesting when you see people like athletes and that kids often do want to follow, but they don't know, they don't always live up to their dad's name or mum. I see in cricket, heaps of the players that play for Australia, their kids will try play as well and want to make it, but they're never quite. They very rarely reach the feats of their parents. I wonder if there's always that's a whole new pressure and expectations they'd have to deal with on the come up too, because you get compared to, wouldn't you?
I was just listening to Eddie Hearn, and who's a fight promoter, and Conor Ben doing a podcast, and they've both got that. Like Nigel Ben was Conor Ben's dad, who was a great British boxer, one of the greatest British boxers of all time, and obviously Barry Hearn started Matchroom, which is who Eddie Hearn now works for. So they were both Nigel's son and Barry's son, and now they were laughing that their dads now get asked, "Are you Conor's dad or are you Eddie's dad?" So they've superseded that, but they had to go through that at the start. Like, are you getting this because your dad's Nigel Ben, or are you getting it because you're a good boxer?
Yeah,
So
because
I think
he started Matchroom, didn't he, originally?
Barry Hearn,
Did all the darts and all that.
yeah,
eh?
darts, snooker, boxing, and then Eddie jumped in with golf, I think.
Are there any UFC fighters? There are a couple. Who's the guy in Bellator that's his dad was a UFC fighter? There a few that are on the roster that are
Kimbo Slice's
coming
son
through?
used to fight.
Yeah, who's the guy from Bellator that was
Shamrock? No.
Oh no, is it AJ? Oh no.
McKee's dad trains him. I don't know if he
Oh
used to
okay. Is he
fight.
mates at Rampage? Did he grow up around Rampage and stuff?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I think if I could
It's crazy to
father
think that
son,
like if the
like-
next year, imagine like Connor's kids coming up and
Yeah.
then like
Yeah.
Franco and they'd be wild.
Well, these kids are going to grow up in the gym, right? And especially Jack's, like if Jack's
Franco,
away
yeah.
somewhere, Franco's most likely going to be there. So
Because when did you start training? 15, 14, were you?
At Scrappy, probably like 16 or 17.
But you've done a little
I
bit.
went to a boxing gym like probably 2 years before that, just like once a week. Yeah.
So do you reckon that's why the standard across the board generally is evolving and improving all the time? Because all these guys like you're at 15, 16 starting MMA and going all in.
Yeah.
They're getting younger and younger, getting exposure to it, whereas it's a relatively new sport. So
Yeah.
that wasn't always the case.
It definitely wasn't the case when I started. Like, people came in with a style.
Yeah.
But also now there's a lot more knowledge out there to be passed on to people as well. So, you know, the people that were teaching us were all pioneers, essentially, still sort of figuring it out. Whereas
Yeah.
now there's like, you really know what systems work and what you're looking to do. And yeah, it's evolved. That's part of it is people train MMA from the get go now. So the transitions used to be what was difficult. Like a boxer with good jiu-jitsu who couldn't wrestle, you know, it's no use to you.
What do you reckon the best, someone that's a blank canvas that wants to get into MMA, or even if they're already in MMA, they want to aspire to get to Jack's level, what type of training do you think they should be doing?
All of it, but I would focus on a boxing and wrestling style.
Yeah. Them two above everything
They're
else?
my favourite things, but you also you need everything. Right?
What do you reckon, Jack?
I'd be training every day, like as much as I could.
And a
Boxing,
mixture of
MMA.
stuff, or
Yeah, I
your
would,
strengths,
yeah.
or...
I think as much MMA as you could do, you know, the better. The more you could actually practice, like mixing it up,
Yeah.
probably the better. But I mean, you need to have like a base. It's hard just to, because I don't know.
By
think
base, do
nowadays,
you mean
like,
like
Because
expert
you'd
level
wanna
at
have,
something?
you want to have like, you would want to be nice and balanced when you box. You
I don't
wouldn't
think
wanna
it's
be
an art you
flailing and-
teach. I think it's like you would teach footwork and you would teach balance. These are the things that these people need to learn first before anything else.
Yeah.
Fundamentals.
How to move,
Fundamentals.
how to move, and how not to fall over, like when you're under pressure, and how to not to lose your framework, your defensive framework. That's what I would start people off with now, if I was a teacher.
Yeah.
Not necessarily a particular art, just footwork.
Yeah. And how about, you know, people talk about a ring IQ like John Jones. I'd like to get your thoughts as well on how you reckon that's going to go. But can you teach a fight IQ, do you think? Or do you think you're born with that ability to know what's up?
I think it's as much time as you put in. Like
Yeah,
you
it's learned
Put a lot, like, I
behaviours.
think you can only learn it.
I don't think anyone's born with it because it's so odd. It's not. You might be born with intuitive, like, you know, good peripherals and good reflexes, and all that. But it's a weird situation that you. I don't think anyone's particularly born to. It's just practice.
He's practicing, watching a lot.
And exposure to the actual
Exposure
game,
to
mate.
the
Like,
game, I think the more time and effort you actually put into focusing on the sport and like fights, watching fights, that sort of thing, I think the better you'll be. As much as, that's what I think.
You got to immerse yourself. Like, it's all I do. Like, I watch it, go train it, go teach it, go home, watch it, talk about it. Like, it's all fucking
consuming.
No wonder my wife hates it. Do you know what I mean? It's all she ever is about.
Yeah.
But that's how it's got to be. Like, for you to understand it
Yeah.
in the depth that you need to understand it to be good at it and know how you need to train it, you need to have a good knowledge of it.
it's an interesting thing with sport, hey? How, like, you get to a certain level of expertise physically, but the best sort of elite, it's the mental side of it and the game awareness that separate them from the rest. Like, there's so many players that are really good in the gym or at training, but they can't actually replicate that when it comes crunch time out in a game. Do you find
You
that
can't really
fighting?
teach that.
You can't teach that.
You can't teach. You've got to have that innate. I think it's belief in your ability and trust in your skill set, and just to let it all happen rather than get in your own way. You know, you get in your own way if you're not highly conscious of and competent of the skills you're trying to do. Like, but I notice it from like training with Mitch. Like, he's the guy that's going to sit down because he's been the best in the world at something. The mindset and his IQ of just sport and the questions he asks are always very good questions, and he always asks questions. He always sits after a session and he's analysing in his brain, how could he get better? And I think that's what it is. Don't just like rock up to training and leave. Or what did you just do? Is there anything in your mind that you need to ask someone about before you leave that wasn't quite working or wasn't quite right? And I think it's that level of detail where people lose. They train really fucking hard, but they don't really know what their focus was in that training session. They just did what they were told. Whereas really, you've got to what I want Jack to do is I'm going to set a drill up, but he needs to attribute that to the way he fights. So he has to put his own little stamp on it. Otherwise, he's just going through the motions, and he could do that without thinking. So it needs to be, I say to the lads, have a purpose when you come into the gym that day of what you want to get out of it.
Yeah, you can only provide the environment, but they've got
Exactly.
to be able to use that environment.
And you can come up, train every day and not switch your brain on. You still get good, but you'll never be at that next level, and you'll never find that calm because you're not applying that to you. So it's just tools. But
Whatever he's doing, it's fucking working.
yeah, we just train hard.
Who's the? I forgot you mentioned the name right on aerial. Who do you have on your radar? That'd be a fun fight. You mentioned
Vicente Luque.
Yeah, Vicente
Yeah,
Luque.
I think he's out for a year.
Okay.
So probably I don't think I'll be fighting him.
Is there anything else that you'd like to? You're top 15 now. Congrats,
Top
by the way.
15,
Is you
yeah.
14 or something, aren't you?
14.
How good's that?
Yeah, it's cool. I hope the next fight has to be someone that will be a tough top 15 fight. So it's gonna be insane. Yeah, I don't know who will be at this point. Yeah.
I don't think it matters, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys have always had that attitude, right? Doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
just like the harder the better. I
Yeah.
reckon.
I think everyone like brings different challenges, which is like fun to like think about how we beat them and then try and
Do
pull
you-
it off.
Do you get excited to watch Randy Brown's next fight, knowing what you've done to him?
Nah, not really. I've never have, but I would now for sure. Normally, when I fought him, I watch the next fight. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he comes back from that. I think
Yeah.
he's good. I think he just needs to yeah, no, he's very good.
He was
Nice
on a
long,
streak,
he's
wasn't he?
good.
Was he on a bit of a win streak?
Yeah, I think he was on a four-fight win
fight
streak.
Yeah. So that can easily be turned around, eh? Like one,
Yeah,
well, he lost
one
now, but he
fight,
can
yeah.
easily bounce back again.
It's not.
Yeah.
I think sometimes you lose in this sport. It's just the way it is. It's like 4-ounce gloves. You're only ever one clean shot away from being knocked out. So
Yeah.
you just got to be. I don't think. I mean, that's why it was so good. Like these undefeated fighters, they don't know, and they don't know how they're going to deal with it, and then it hits them, and then it could derail them completely because you have this impenetrable armor, you think, and you feel invincible, but you don't think you can ever lose, and then you do, and it's like fuck. But whereas if you can get Jack lost a couple early, so he understands that feeling, and he knows there's people out there that if he doesn't turn up one day that they can beat him. So having that in the back of your brain already and having got that out of the way, I don't anticipate Jack losing anytime soon, but it's definitely not the fucking end of the world if it happens. It's, you have to respect why it happened and not let it happen again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we're a long way off having to have that feeling.
It's exciting as well being in a weight division that people actually care about. There's some divisions that like get more attention than others, and you're actually in a division full of killers. So like everyone's
It's a cool
invested
division.
in it.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah,
lot of
it's
like
real cool
the top
names
10
in
is
it.
like it's pretty good names in there. So it's exciting times. Hopefully get someone top 10 end of the year would be sick.
I reckon this is the worst part, like where you're in limbo between fights and you haven't got an opponent. When you get an opponent, it's good because you've got
Yeah.
a goal and a date and
And when you
something
need to work
focus
on,
on.
their
Yeah,
strength.
yeah,
So
yeah.
straight away, I can improve in this area
Yeah.
to combat their strength.
Well, and the fun things like you get to plan a trip and where we're going to go train. What do we need to do? Like we're in that kind of the game now. Is like, what training do we need? Where do we need to go to get it? And if we have to go somewhere, we'll go somewhere. And it's exciting to start sort of really planning the next phase.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully the next month have a name.
Something to aim for.
And predictions this weekend for John Jones?
It's a really hard one. I mean, I would always back John Jones. I think he's when he was at the best. I think he was the best. But like you just don't know after 3 years how he's going to turn up.
I kind of feel like it's Rodriguez versus Emmett. You know how in your head you're like, Rodriguez could make him look kind of like he's pretty fucking technically and good. He could make this pretty one way. That's how I
Yeah.
kind of feel like John Jones could make it look kind of easy almost.
Yeah.
So,
I hope not. I hope it's a good fight. But
What's the question marks? The time off and the up in weight? If he can take the punches, is that what the two question
everyone
marks
says
are?
he's always been that big. Like
I think he's always been like a real dominating force. Like in the clinching side, he's always been someone that
He's
can
a good
like
wrestler.
dominate. So it'll be interesting to see when he goes up against a bigger guy, will he be able to like impose his will?
yeah. Is Max on that card as well?
Oh, is he? Holloway?
I don't know.
I'm not
It could be a
sure.
false.
I'm not
info.
sure. I'm the worst UFC fan. Like, I don't really. It's
Watch
so
it when it's
time
on, but
consuming.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Watch it.
with young
It's a good
kids,
card.
like being on a Sunday morning, it's not really like it's one of them. You can't really say, "Oh, I'm just going to spend 4 hours watching MMA now." I've been doing MMA all week and not, it's a tough one. So I find I miss unless there's a fight I'm really interested in, which
Yeah.
I honestly I don't think. I mean, it's a good card on the weekend, but nothing that really makes Magny and Shavkat is probably because
Jeff Neal,
Neil Shavkat, probably just because they're welterweights.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And he's one you've had your eye. You like.
I think
said
he's
that'd be a
good. I
fun
think
fight.
Shavkat's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that
I think
you're
he's one
invested.
of
You're
the-
invested in that. Then.
Yeah. I'd be
Yeah,
interested
so
to
I
see
like
how it
watching the
goes.
welterweight division.
Yeah.
Fight.
That's homework, eh?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I have to watch that.
Oh, Bo Nichols on this one.
Oh, sick.
Oh, true.
Who's he against?
Yeah.
Jamie Pickett, and then you've got Valentina is fighting Grasso, Jeff Neal and Shavkat, Matus Gamrot, and is it Jalen Turner?
Yeah, that would be a good fight.
And Nickal and Pickett.
Yeah.
So
What-
did you think
good.
Jones will win?
I don't know, man. I haven't put too much thought. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing him come back. I like John Jones. I think he's an animal. I think he's what a fighter should be. He wants to fuck people up when he gets in the cage. I don't necessarily like what he does outside the cage, but it's none of my business. I like John Jones as an MMA fighter. I think he's the GOAT.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what about Bo Nichols?
I don't really care about Bo Nickal.
Don't ya?
No.
I'm fascinated by that.
I think he's
I want him to see him do a bit first, and then I'll start getting interested in him.
Yeah.
Is it your weight division?
He's the middleweight.
Oh, middleweight.
What are your thoughts on how that will go down?
I don't actually know his fight. I would imagine he would just ragdoll.
You kind of feel like he's just going to smoke the dude,
I think
eh?
he's-
I don't even know who it is.
He's on a trajectory, but like same as Hamzat, I never bought into that until the Gilbert fight. I wanted to see him in a fight. I don't want to see him just banging people out. I guess that's what people might say about Jack too, but I want to see him tested in his cup. But I've seen that from Jack. Like I see it every week, So I know that is not a problem. But yeah, I always want to see these guys like not just. I want to see a bit of adversity in how they come through. I want to see him getting banged on the chin and how they come through it.
Yeah.
100%.
I want to see Bo Nichols smashed in the face a few times and see, not in a bad way, and just see how he reacts. Like, is anyone good enough to do that? Is he going to Askren everyone like it in his prime? Askren just ran over, got you on the ground, and didn't take any damage. Is that Bo Nichols? Like,
Yeah.
Is he the new? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd never heard of him until 6 months ago. So 'cause
Stylistically, you probably put Bo Nickal against Pereira and he might beat him, eh?
yeah, it's one of them funny
Oh,
ones.
100%.
That's the
100%.
chance to do it.
Yeah, there's a few people in the middleweight division now. Izzy's not the king, going, I wouldn't mind like getting in there and having a crack at Alex. He can't.
Yeah, the wrestlers are licking their lips, aren't they? That's right. Who do you reckon Izzy beats him in the rematch?
I'd always back Izzy. I backed Izzy the first time. I think he's just got to avoid. He got compromised early with the leg kicks, right? And then if it ruined his movement, he became a bit more susceptible to that left hook. And that's what he's got to avoid. That's literally the one punch that did all the damage every time they fought. So
Yeah.
you just spar with your right hand, put it to the fucking side of your head.
Staple it.
And just throw your lead hand the whole fight.
Grace it.
Kick the punch is sliding off.
You need something in your hair to hold. Yeah, that'd be
It's such a
perfect.
brutal sport you play, though, because it's like one mistake and that's it, eh? It's so
Yeah.
final.
Yeah.
Yeah, Izzy was
He
good.
was dominating that whole
He was
fight,
winning.
wasn't
He
he?
was looking good.
And just took that one.
Oh, yeah.
It's fucking crazy.
crazy.
I enjoy watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
it's
right.
I never thought I'd finish the potty with my shirt off.
Almost
I think you should never do it again, especially now we got video, man.
Lights. Takes the lights
I was
off.
going to try and climb out of that little stained glass window there just to get away from it.
How good's the church
It's
window?
brilliant.
It's
Have you
unreal.
noticed that?
Oh, you can't see it from over there.
Fully robbed a church. It looks like that. It does, eh? It looks like that.
Oh,
Sick.
So thanks so much, boys, for coming
Yeah.
on.
Pleasure, boys.
Legendary.
Having us.
Sorry if you got cancelled for the Grin Reapers.
Fucking big note. He had one job and he fucked it.
No,
no,
legend.
that's impressive. I think that's pretty good.
But no, it's awesome watching you do your thing. You boys are
cheers,
on a
boys.
lovely trajectory, and everyone's behind you.
Yeah.
So keep
Absolute
it up.
legends. Thanks for
Cheers, boys.
coming in.
Thanks for
Really
the support.
appreciate it.
We appreciate it.
and all the people watching. It is a work in progress. The studio. It'll keep changing and we'll get our
It'll
cameras.
stop leaking.
Yeah.
The
We got to
microphones will
suss the
stop
best
taking
camera
them.
angles and
I
shit.
feel like I'm on a porn. I don't know how these women do it. It's really distracting. I can't concentrate.
Benny Dickers.
I'm getting dicked down.
Legends.
Thanks so much.
Till next
See you
time.
next week.